From every generation, rock stars are known for living wild, breaking rules, and sometimes making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But not all of them are just about chaos. Some earn something even bigger than fame, respect. But what makes a rock star truly respected? Is it their talent, the way they connect with fans, or how they use their influence to change the world? Some musicians get respect for their skills, while others are admired for staying true to themselves, standing up for what's right, or simply lasting through the craziness of the music industry. Every generation has given us rock legends who stand out above the rest. Some changed music forever. Others made a difference in people's lives. In this list, we're going to look at the most respected rock star from every era, starting with the 1950s. And trust me, some of these choices might surprise you. Rock and roll wouldn't be what it is today without Chuck Berry. In the 1950s, he was one of the first musicians to blend blues, country, and rhythm and blues into something new, something that made people want to get up and move. With songs like Johnny B. Good, Roll Over Beethoven, and Maybelline, Berry laid the foundation for rock music as we know it. What made Chuck Berry so respected wasn't just his music, it was the way he performed it. His famous duck walk across the stage, his fast guitar riffs, and his ability to tell stories through songs made him stand out. He influenced just about every rock musician who came after him, from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones. Even though he had personal troubles, no one can deny that Chuck Berry was a rock pioneer. Without him, rock music might have sounded completely different. If there's one name that defines rock in the 1960s, it's Jimi Hendrix. He wasn't just a great guitarist. He completely changed the way people played the instrument. Before Hendrix, most guitarists stuck to simple chords and clean sounds. But he came in with his loud, distorted, and mind-blowing solos that made the guitar feel almost like it was singing. Songs like Purple Haze, Voodoo Child, and his legendary Star-Spangled Banner performance at Woodstock in 1969 proved he was on a whole different level. But Hendrix wasn't just about flashy guitar skills. He had a deep love for music and a quiet, humble personality that made people respect him even more. Unlike many rock stars of his time, he didn't act like he was better than anyone else. He just wanted to create something special. Even though his career was short, Hendrix's impact has lasted for decades. Ask any great guitarist today, and chances are, they'll say Jimi Hendrix was one of their biggest inspirations. His creativity, passion, and pure talent made him one of the most respected rock stars of all time. When it comes to legendary rock frontmen, Freddie Mercury is in a league of his own.
Carry on, carry on.
As the voice of Queen, he didn't just sing, he commanded the stage like no one else. His powerful voice, unmatched range, and theatrical performances made Queen one of the biggest bands in rock history. Songs like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You, and Somebody to Love weren't just hits, they became anthems that are still loved today. But Freddie wasn't just about showmanship. He was also deeply respected for his dedication to his craft. He wrote songs that pushed boundaries, blending rock with opera, pop, and even disco. While some critics didn't get it at first, the fans knew Queen was something special. Freddie was also admired for being unapologetically himself. In a time when being different wasn't always accepted, he embraced his unique style and personality, inspiring millions. Even after his passing in 1991, his music and legacy live on. Few rock stars have ever been as beloved as Freddie Mercury, and it's safe to say that no one will ever replace him. In a decade full of flashy rock stars and over-the-top performances, Bruce Springsteen stood out by keeping things real. Known as the Boss, he built a career on writing songs about ordinary people, their struggles, dreams, and everyday lives. Hits like Born to Run, Dancing in the Dark, and Glory Days weren't just catchy, they told stories that millions of people could relate to. Springsteen wasn't just respected for his music, he was admired for his work ethic. He wasn't the type of rock star to party all night and show up late. Instead, he gave everything he had on stage, performing marathon concerts that lasted 3 or 4 hours. Fans loved him because they knew he cared about them just as much as they cared about him. Another reason people respect Springsteen is his activism. He's always used his platform to stand up for workers, veterans, and people struggling to make ends meet. Instead of chasing trends, he stayed true to himself, making music that meant something. Even today, Bruce Springsteen is still performing, still writing, and still proving that rock and roll isn't just about fame, it's about heart. The 1990s were all about grunge, and no one represented that era better than Kurt Cobain. As the frontman of Nirvana, he became the voice of a generation that felt lost, frustrated, and misunderstood. Songs like Smells, like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, and Lithium weren't just hits. They spoke directly to young people who didn't fit in. Cobain was respected not just for his music, but for his authenticity. Unlike many rock stars before him, he didn't care about fame or money. In fact, he openly criticized the mainstream music industry and the way it treated artists. He also stood against sexism, racism, and homophobia, making it clear that his concerts were a safe space for everyone. But fame weighed heavily on him. Cobain struggled with the pressure of being a rock icon, and his personal demons eventually led to his tragic death in 1994. Despite his short career, his influence on rock music and culture is massive. To this day, Kurt Cobain is remembered as an artist who never compromised, never faked it, and always stayed true to himself. And that's exactly why he remains one of the most respected rock stars of all time. If there's one rock star who has earned universal respect, it's Dave Grohl. He started as the drummer for Nirvana, but after Kurt Cobain's death, he did something no one expected. He reinvented himself as the frontman of Foo Fighters. Instead of fading into rock history, he built one of the biggest bands of the 2000s, with hits like Everlong, Best of You, and The Pretender. What makes Grohl so respected isn't just his music, it's his attitude. Unlike many rock stars, he doesn't have an ego. He's always been down to earth, funny, and completely dedicated to his fans. Whether he's playing a show with a broken leg or inviting fans on stage, he treats people like family. Grohl is also one of rock's biggest supporters. He constantly shines a light on new musicians, brings legends together, and even directed documentaries about music history. He never forgets where he came from, and that's why both fans and fellow musicians love him. In an industry where many rock stars crash and burn, Dave Grohl keeps proving that you don't have to be reckless to be a legend. He's proof that hard work, talent, and kindness can take you a long way. Jack White is one of the most respected musicians of the 2010s, but not because he chases fame or follows trends. Instead, he sticks to what he believes in, raw, real music. As the frontman of the White Stripes, he helped bring garage rock back to life with songs like Seven Nation Army, which became one of the most recognizable rock riffs ever. But he didn't stop there. He went on to form multiple bands, launch a successful solo career, and even start his own record label to support independent artists. White is admired for keeping music authentic. He records on old-school analog equipment, avoids digital shortcuts, and constantly experiments with new sounds. He's also a private and mysterious figure, letting his music speak for itself rather than seeking attention. In a world where rock has struggled to stay in the spotlight, Jack White remains a beacon of artistic integrity.
Maybe I lost weight.
Brendan Urie may have started in the mid-2000s with Panic at the Disco, but by the 2000s and 20s, he had cemented himself as one of the most respected rock vocalists of his generation. Known for his incredible vocal range and theatrical performances, he took Panic from a quirky emo band to a full-blown pop rock powerhouse with hits like High Hopes, I Write Sins Not Tragedies, and Death of a Bachelor. What sets Urie apart is his versatility. He can belt out operatic high notes, switch to punk energy, or croon like Sinatra, all in one performance. His charisma and showmanship make every concert an unforgettable experience. Beyond music, he's also earned respect for his charity work, especially supporting LGBTQ+ rights through his Highest Hopes Foundation. While Panic at the Disco officially ended in 2023, Urie's talent and influence ensure that he'll be remembered as one of the defining rock stars of his time. Rock music has changed a lot over the decades, but one thing remains the same: respect is earned, not given. From Chuck Berry laying the foundation of rock and roll to Brendan Urie bringing theatrical performances into modern rock, each of these artists left a mark on music history in their own way. Some, like Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain, were game changers who burned bright and left too soon. Others, like Bruce Springsteen and Dave Grohl, built their legacies over decades. But one thing's for sure, each of these rock stars proved that real respect comes from talent, passion, and staying true to yourself.